Hello everyone. So another interesting question from Jan Teller distortion. Okay, so question 9. What does that say? Question 9 says that in the solid state, the CuCl5 3 minus ion has two types of bonds. These are option A is 3 long and 2 short. Option B is 2 long and 3 short. Option C is 1 long and 4 short. And option D is 4 long and 1 short. So why I say this is based on Jahn-Teller distortion, because wherever you see the difference in the size of the bonds, one is longer, another is shorter, and some discrepancy or distortion from the regular geometry, then we can predict that the question requires the application of Jahn-Teller distortion. Okay, so first of all, we will concentrate on our complex. What it is? So it is CuCl5 3 minus. Okay, so the complex is a kind of AB5 structure. Okay, central metal ion copper coordinated to 5 chloroligands. Okay, and what should be the oxidation state of copper in this complex? So if we take copper oxidation state X, so we have 5 chloroligands. Charge on the chloroligands is -1, so -1 into 5 is -5, and total charge on the complex is -3. So X becomes how much? It becomes +2. So copper is in the +2 oxidation state. So the valence electronic configuration of copper is 3d10 4s1, and in the +2 oxidation state, what it is, so it becomes 3d9 and 4s0, so only d9 electrons. Okay, so we have learned previously in the Jahn-Teller distortion that d9 configuration is asymmetrically distributed in the Eg orbital, and that leads to Jahn-Teller distortion. Now, additionally, let's discuss the hybridization and structure of this complex CuCl5 3 minus. Okay, now it's a copper compound, and just now we saw that copper is in the +2 oxidation state with D9 configuration. Okay, now if we apply valence bond theory to this compound, that means we have to accommodate 9 electrons in the 3d orbital. So 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Now we can see here that in the 3d orbital we have one unpaired electron, and this electron cannot be paired. So it is the single electron that is there in the 3d orbital. Now we have to accommodate how many? 5 into 2 electrons, that is 10 electrons, that is obtained from the 5 chlorine atoms, or you can say 5 chloroligands. So 5 chloroligands, they will contribute to 10 electrons. Now these 10 electrons will be accommodated in the 4s, 4p and 4d orbitals according to the valence bond theory. Okay, now so the 10 electrons are accommodated like this in the 4s, 4p. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8 and 2 electrons in the 4d. So we have 4s, 4p and 1 4d orbital that is occupied, giving rise to what kind of hybridization? So we have 1 4s orbital, 3 4p orbital and 1 4d orbital. So the hybridization that is obtained is sp3d. Okay, and we very well know that contributes to a trigonal bipyramidal geometry. Okay, so our compound CuCl5 3 minus has TBP geometry. Okay, and what does the TBP geometry look like? You know it very well. So we have a planar trigonal bond. Okay, and then planar trigonal bond is equatorial. These bonds are known as equatorial. Okay, 3 equatorial bonds and 2 axial bonds, right? Like this. So this is the TBP geometry. Okay, so first of all, we calculated the oxidation state of the central metal. Then we applied valence bond theory to know the hybridization, and from hybridization, we knew the geometry or the structure of the compound, which is TBP, trigonal bipyramidal structure. Okay. Now, after understanding the structure of this compound CuCl5 3 minus, in order to understand the Jahn-Teller distortion in this complex, we need to understand the crystal field splitting in the trigonal bipyramidal geometry. So I have explained how the d orbitals are split in the trigonal bipyramidal geometry in one of my videos. You can refer to that. Now here I will quickly recap the order of energy when there is crystal field splitting in the trigonal bipyramidal geometry. So as you can see, the order of energy is dz square is greater than dx square minus y square dxy, which is greater than dxz and dyz. And why it happens is because you can see here in the structure, these axial ligands. So these are the top and bottom vertical ligands are the axial ligands. Okay. And these ligands, which are the three ligands in the plane of the paper, trigonal arrangement. So these are the equatorial ligands. Okay. You can very well see that these axial ligands are lying on the z-axis, while these equatorial ligands, these are lying between, you can consider one of them as the x-axis, okay, and the other lying in between the y-axis. So these planar equatorial ligands are lying between the x-axis and the y-axis, while the axial ligands are lying on the z-axis. So you can see here that the two axial ligands are coinciding with the z-axis, while the three equatorial ligands, these are in between the x and y axis. So we have two ligands which are coinciding with the z-axis, while we have three ligands which are between the x and y axis. Now, since these two axial ligands are coinciding with the z-axis, that means the dz square orbital of the metal ion is lying in the direct path of the ligands. Okay. That means the dz square is coinciding with the ligands. The dz square of the metal ion is coinciding with the ligands. And that is why these dz square orbitals of the metal ion, they experience more repulsion. And that is why, because of this greater repulsion, these dz square orbitals of the metal ion are raised in energy. And this is the reason why we have the dz square as the highest occupied d orbital with highest energy for the TBP geometry in the crystal field. Now, the other details you can find in the video where I have explained the splitting of the d orbitals in the trigonal bipyramidal geometry. And now let us focus on the filling of electrons in these d orbitals, which are split into 2, 2 and 1, this kind of splitting. So these 5 orbitals are split into 2, 2 and 1 orbitals. Now we can fill the D9 electrons of the copper 2 plus, and these will be filled like this: 4, 8 and 9. Okay. Now you can see that the single lone pair of electron is filled in the dz square orbital. So the ninth electron, the lone electron, is filled in the dz square orbital. Now from here comes the interesting part. Now as we see that the unpaired electron is present in the dz square orbital. Okay. And as you can see, this dz square orbital is a single orbital which has one electron. So that means it is half filled. And being half filled, this experiences a low shielding from the inner orbitals. And because of this less shielding from the inner orbitals, the effective nuclear charge increases. And this increase in the effective nuclear charge causes the axial ligands to be drawn towards the copper nucleus. And as these axial ligands are attracted or drawn in closer by the copper nucleus, then obviously the axial bond length decreases. And this decrease in the axial bond length results into 2 short and 3 long bonds. And this is the typical Z in condition during the Jahn-Teller distortion, which is also known as compression, Z in or compression. That means the axial bonds are compressed. So, in all probability, the correct option to this question will be option A, 3 long and 2 short bonds. So, either option A or B will be valid for the trigonal bipyramidal geometry, which is the geometry for this complex. CuCl5 3 minus. And for option C and D, we have been given 1 long and 4 short, or 4 long and 1 short. So this 1 and 4 combination is possible only in the square pyramid geometry. But from our valence bond theory, we got the geometry as trigonal bipyramidal for this complex. So option C and D cannot be any of the options that should be correct, because 1 long, 4 short, or 4 long and 1 short will be possible only for the square pyramid geometry, which is not the case for this CuCl5 3 minus complex. So we have to consider only option A and B, which corresponds to the trigonal bipyramidal geometry. So from the structure and the analysis of the filling of the D9 electrons in the trigonal bipyramidal geometry, we conclude that this is a Z in, or the compression type of distortion that is occurring in this trigonal bipyramidal geometry. So it should be a distorted trigonal bipyramidal geometry after the Jahn-Teller effect. And being the Z in configuration or the compression, option 1, that is option A, will be our correct answer. 3 long and 2 short. 3 long belongs to the equatorial metal ligand bonds, while 2 short belong to the axial metal ligand bonds. So I hope this explanation is clear. And if you like my videos, please do like, share and subscribe. And please let me know what you want to learn next in chemistry. Thank you so much.